This is Poly-U Hungam Hall, our home for the first years of our church. The story behind it was a blessing. We found favor with one of the hall wardens who had actually been praying for a church to start at the university. When she learned about us, she offered us the space to meet.
However, the space lacked what we needed. We stored all our equipment in an apartment and brought it all downstairs early in the morning. Chairs, stands, speakers, everything went into a go-go van to be taken to Hong Hum Hall. Upon arrival, we transformed the canteen space. We cleared tables, set up partitions, and arranged chairs, instruments, audio, and visual equipment to create a sanctuary for God's presence. After each Sunday celebration or special event, we would break down and pack everything to bring back to the storage apartment. It was a laborious but joyful process as we ushered people to experience God.
God has always provided, and His faithfulness extended to both the space and the people who believed in the vision, moving and setting up every time we gathered as a church.
I felt hopeless, and it was hectic. We would scramble and cold call places on Saturdays, hoping to find a location for our church to meet. But each time we had to look for a location, God was always faithful in providing an available venue. I knew that there was nothing that could stop His purposes of wanting His church to meet.
Once the pandemic hit, we could no longer meet in person. It was a challenge to continue to worship, even though we couldn't gather physically. Although we were limited and inexperienced, God was faithful when His people decided to worship despite the odds. God even used this period to bring us closer together, especially when people met in small groups and gathered together in private spaces.
Having a more regular space meant our communities could gather and fellowship together, whether it be for children, youth, college students, working adults, or families. We started to dream about what it could be like to have a permanent home.
With our own space for our children's ministry, it ensured a safe place for the children to learn about Jesus. It helped us to envision a future church home with an engaging environment for the children to grow and a welcoming space for families to fellowship.
These spaces also allowed us to host people better and enhance our worship experience. Although these spaces were temporary and limited us to meet at certain times, God faithfully ensured that we never lacked a place to gather as a community to worship Him.
Initially unsure, our journey towards a permanent space became a faithful endeavor. Searching for a place that met our needs was difficult, and even when we found a space that we wanted, the challenge of negotiating with the landlord seemed impossible due to the price. But God made a way time and time again.
We witnessed God's provisions as generosity flowed through people contributing to the Ripple Out campaign, supporting our vision in so many different ways. And throughout the renovation process, every time we got updates, His faithfulness was always evident, alongside us every step of the way. There's an immense sense of privilege and awe to be front row and center for what God is doing in our church.
This journey reaffirms that this church belongs to Him, from the venue search to the renovations, the furnishing to the moving. God proved that He cares for us more than we could ever imagine. And as we root ourselves permanently into this space, we trust that we will live out our calling to saturate Hong Kong with God's love. A safe home for spiritual encounters, worship, and fellowship.
A welcoming place for guests, children, families, and diverse life stages.
a connective hub to reach people both physically and digitally,
a setting for activities and outreaches to impact and serve those in need,
an environment free from distractions for ministry to see lives being transformed by the gospel.
Most of all, a transformation center where the transformative power of Jesus would ripple out to Kwintong, Hong Kong, and to the rest of the world.